Well, I just realized you're in the bathrobe.
Yeah.
You haven't been in the bathrobe in a while.
Yeah. Well, I might have to take it off because it's very hot now. But we're getting ready to have a big storm, which is good. But this has been a big week for both of us. It has been for me. I've been up every night almost till 12 o'clock, 12:30. I'm exhausted. I'm not used to getting in the car and going and doing and everything. I'm I don't know how to explain that, but I don't normally do it that way. So I've been tired, man. And then Brenda's leaving today from Miami. She's going back home. But they have I think they bought most of the bourbon in the state of Kentucky. I've never seen so much stuff in my life going in. They have bought everything because they're collectors. So they're into collecting bourbon. And she would ask me these questions. I said, just because I live in Kentucky doesn't mean I know anything about bourbon.
You
I
remember
don't.
she brought me up a bottle of bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said I mean, they're in it big time. So, but I sure did enjoy being with her. We laughed, we recreated our thoughts again about what we did and laughed about some of the things. Yes, absolutely.
I miss all her T-shirts with your.
I know, but she's busy. I mean, really busy. So, yeah, it was, it's we have such a good time together. But I had a wonderful time yesterday with that group that I was working with. Carol was in there, and there's another Carol. Then her Carol, that's her son Gabe. But they're coming in. We're really trying to get things back into alignment. Just here, just being grouped together to really raise the frequency. That's the only thing I can say. Like when I was trying to tell Kelly, I said, you got to stay very focused. And I mean, we're going to be, we've been focused very much so about what we're doing. And you're the one that's going through a lot of stuff too. That told Kelly, I think maybe just give her a call when you can. But at least we found out about the coffee chat this time because last couple of times we weren't we forgot about it.
Well, and I want to say something before we get really started. The purpose of this show is for us. The idea is called Coffee Chat. I thought this was pretty self-explanatory, but I guess it wasn't.
Oh,
It's for us in the morning because we would have these conversations all the time, and sometimes we just talk about nothing, and sometimes we talk about really deep topics, and we thought about it because when I go up there, we drink coffee, or when she would come down here, we drink coffee, and well, somebody made a comment and said, "I have no idea what I'm looking at or watching."
Yeah, there's
somebody. And I was like, well, did you have to know what it was? You were obviously watching it. Sometimes when people make comments, I just think like you just wasted a whole lot of time to make a comment about nonsense. Mm-hmm. But the idea is that we talk about different topics, and sometimes it's motivating and sometimes it's healing and but it's just generally just the conversation because we have these conversations for like 3
all
or 4
the time. This is our coffee chat all the time. We sit down. We're rebuilding, reconstructing our business together. We do all of that, and I mean, we talk all the time. So that's what people don't understand. We thought it was a good idea because just showing that what we do all the time is this. We sit down and we really process and look at things and then create. And this is a way to create. It's like brain, you're going in and you're really working with your own mind and you're working with each other. There shouldn't be anything a big deal. But I remember when that was said, this woman.
While we're here, let's say thanks to the ones that watch on a regular basis. I know Ghost Rider, you watched on a regular basis.
Yes.
Mary from Hawaii, I know you watch later on because this is pretty early for you. And so... and it's, there's people that, Lisa, I know you watch, and Melissa, I know you watch, and Michelle, I know you watch. So, thank you everybody for watching.
Yes. Yes, because, and they tune in sometimes and they'll give information back in and we'll see it.
Oh, yeah.
No, this is just to catch up. Weekly catch up is really what it is. because I didn't get to see you a lot because I've been in and out. You've been in and out. So yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things, but it's I've been getting a lot of work done. I'm building this website for myself that's a blending of my spiritual and business worlds,
Mm.
and I am having a lot of, when we get done with the show, I'm going to show it to you.
Okay.
I'm really excited. So it has a link to go to my show on Ethereal TV. You know, it's going to have my courses that I'm building, you know, for me, and you know, my teachings and stuff like that. And I'm really excited about putting it out. And so,
Mhm.
and I'm getting it done because I fly to Colorado Springs in a few weeks to speak at that conference. And
Mhm.
so, and I just talked to Jason yesterday. We built we did a live talking about what I'm going to be speaking about, which is building community. And so I'm pretty excited. I wanted to have the website done before then, but he said has a special surprise for me because I posted pictures about when I was about 27 years old, and I was
Oh,
doing intuitive readings at the Seventh Heaven Psychic Cafe in Ybor City, and I referred to myself as baby psychic. And Jason has a kind of a silly sense of humor, so he's like, "You're not going to regret that, but you will." And so it'll be something that'll make everybody laugh, I'm sure.
well, it's been strange this week. I mean, a lot of people are getting dizzy and feeling very out of their bodies mostly. And I mean, I'm having a lot of aches and pains that I don't normally have. And that's because of frequency. Now, people don't have to listen to me on that, but I can tell you right now, when they raise that frequency, it changes our physical body because of it's not used to being frequency wise raised up, because we really don't live on that kind of frequency. So a lot of people are getting sick again. COVID is coming back in because kids have started back into school, and it's not good. It's really not. I feel, getting in and out of the car a lot because I normally don't get in and out of the car. So,
Well, there was like a solar flare this week too, or something where.
and that might have been it, because I mean, I got dizzy. And my eye, well, even when Kelly was here, it went back, and it was a very weird thing. And then I had an aura last night when I was with Brenda, and she doesn't know what I'm talking about. I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm having an aura." And she said, "What is that?" I said, "Well, it's like a silent migraine headache." So, but you don't feel, you just see it out here. And I mean, it's got different colors now. It's different, but it only comes on this eye. So that means it's coming on this side of the brain. That's where I had my stroke. So I can't discern sometimes if the stroke or if it's frequency, but I think this is really frequency. So it's causing it to go that way. So
I've been having these experiences for a couple months now where I don't know, I'll even be driving and I'll feel like for a moment, I'm not in, I'm like not there. I mean, like I can see my hands, I'm in the steering wheel. I can see everything around me, but I feel like I've just gone somewhere. It's like my
yeah,
standing.
that's exactly. I mean, we're not the only ones. There's other people that are coming in my email and talking about it.
Yeah, it's
We're now having a big storm. Did you hear that thunder?
No, but we haven't been having that off and on here, and we've been so. What I find interesting is we had that hurricane, and then 5 million gallons of sewage was dumped on Florida. So.
Wow. See, that's never happened, had it?
No, and it's mainly in Sarasota County. But, it's one of those things where that hurricane came through and something happened, whatever, some people say it was on purpose. Some people say it wasn't, but it doesn't really matter. There was obviously negligence of some kind that happened, because a Category 1 hurricane is not going to cause that. So.
No, because now didn't they flood? Didn't Sarasota? Didn't it flood another time? I think I was
Well, they
here.
did a couple of years ago, got
Yeah.
really badly flooded, and I can't remember which hurricane that was. It was just what, a year or two ago.
Yeah, and I mean
Uh,
they don't normally do that because you were telling me. I don't know if I was there or what was. I don't think I was there, but I think you were telling me about it. But you said that doesn't normally happen. I mean, because of Sarasota. See,
well,
there's a
what it was the neighborhoods that they were in. They were not flood zones. Uh,
uh,
they were in the category that was basically the safest for flooding. And but when this just happened, but when the sewage areas broke or whatever happened, and they flooded those areas, so that means that all these people's houses are destroyed. And there was a news story that I was watching, and this lady was crying. She goes, "I'm not even in a flood zone," and she goes, "And I moved here a few years ago, and everything I own is gone. So I'm completely gone, not because of wind damage, because it flooded." So
and that wasn't a flood zone.
it wasn't in a flood zone.
Wonder
So
what?
that's where she said this is not. She came out and said a lot of homeowners are coming out and saying this isn't an accident. This was on purpose, and because of whatever reason that they you know she wasn't giving like a reason, but it was like I was like, well, something happened. I mean, you don't just have. I think it was in Sarasota. It was like 3 million gallons of sewage.
Oh my! Ooh, that has to be a mess.
It did, and so now I'm like, Florida's just a really shitty state.
Literally,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to make fun of people for losing their homes because that's actually very sad. But that's hopefully somebody's held accountable. It's kind of like even like in Katrina, like when the levees broke and
Oh my God.
they knew for the longest time that it couldn't sustain more than a Category 3 hurricane. And here's this city that's under the sea level. Like, why would you have fixed that?
Because I don't think that they have done very well with anything anymore. I'm very concerned, and that's how I'm concerned about how things are starting to come
Well,
forward, and people like us of the light tend to we don't know what to do, but yet we know that it's something to do with the frequency of what we're doing.
Well, and here's the key thing too that I've realized too, working in the corporations. Like, if the government is anything like corporations, and I tend to think it's probably worse. But in corporations, you'll sit in a boardroom or in a meeting, and you'll say, "Hey, we need to start thinking about this because this is, going to be if we don't do something about it now, it's going to be a big deal later on." And they will literally the executives or other people say, well, we can't necessarily shell out that kind of money right now. That's a huge expense that we shouldn't be
Right.
pushing. They keep on pushing it off and pushing it off, and you get 10 or 15 people, and they start having different opinions. Instead of shutting the hell up and
Mm,
actually working together for a solution,
right.
we had that during COVID. I remember the company I was working for at the time. We worked in an office complex, so we had like Raymond James, United Healthcare, and all these other and those companies sent their employees to work at home. And I remember we said to our boss, we said, other companies are sending their employees home, and we were kind of a smaller company. We were about 1,000 employees between the states that we were in. And his response was like, "Well, United Healthcare and those companies have money, and we're not as big as they are. And so if we don't have people producing um, revenue, then we won't be able to afford to pay for their health care. And what are they going to do when they don't have health care if they get sick with COVID? So you guys have to stop being idiots and start." This is how he's talking to us, and all he's thinking about is revenue. And so, sure enough,
That right there tells you a whole lot right there.
right. And sure enough, guess what we had to do? We finally had to bite the bullet and send people home to work at home because they got so scared. And then we sent them home. And guess what? Our revenue went up because people working at home were more productive. And then they created a whole program up there for an incentive. If you want to work at home, even beyond COVID, you have to hit these numbers, and if you hit them, you can continue to working at home as long as you want. And so that's what happens is it's fear and greed. So that's why it gets frustrating. I get tired of it because I get tired of like being in those jobs, and they hire me to do a job and then they argue with me. I'm like, shut up and listen to what I'm saying.
Well, they don't want to listen because they do have their whole goal is money. And
Yeah.
this is a lot of problem right now. It's about money, about power, and not about the soul of the person. It's about what they can give to this area, this end of it, the plane here. So I don't know, Jeremy. There's a lot of things going on. I really do. I'm concerned of the end of this month to the first of the next month, and that would be September. So there's something going on. I mean, people like us, we all sit around and we talk together. Every one of us that I've talked to that has the intuitiveness, or they're praying, or they're all feeling the same thing. So I don't know really what's going on, but I do know that there's something going on, and we've got to start standing above that and raising that forward on a higher plane instead of what we're falling down into this. This is what I was talking in that meeting last night, yesterday, is we have to stand in our own frequency and really hold the light of who we are. But it also holds the light with everybody else as we raise up, they raise up. So, and that sounds so simple. It's a hard thing to do. Like when I was talking this morning with a friend, and she was just upset, and there was nothing I could do but let her speak because she just couldn't see it any other way. So hopefully that will help.
Yeah, when we have fear, I mean, it is hard to look past it because it's like there's a lot. It's like one of the things that I'm really grateful about right now is that, I've gone through kind of the same thing for the past 3 years around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, I'm very grateful that I don't have the responsibilities that I had the 2 years previous. I mean, because here I'm looking at, I'm pretty free.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where I can, for the first time in many, many years, and I mean, I've had some great experiences. I mean, I had like this beautiful apartment and all that other kind of stuff, but now I'm like, well, wait a second. I get to just build my business now. I don't have to sit here and stress over things that, $2,500 a month, that had to go out every month. That's no longer a thing. And I'm completely grateful over that. That's just like the coolest thing in the world. So, and I don't think, everybody has that opportunity. So,
Well, I agree that I think they all have a heart. People are struggling, and you can tell. And when you get under that stress, no money, or you're afraid, or you know how that does. It diminishes you back down into a lower consciousness, and fear takes everything away. So,
well, remember Dune? Fear is the mind killer.
yep. Well, I haven't seen Dune a long time ago, but yeah, there's a new one coming on. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I've seen it.
huh?
Me and Damien have seen it. So
Have you?
yeah,
So that's what they said it was that. Well, but they're talking also again about Waitiko. I mean, I'm working with a woman that um, they have a patient that needs to see me because they've got Watiko, and I had to send, and they're psychologists and they're therapists, and they've never heard about Watiko, and I gave them about Paul Levy, and I said it is a mind virus, and I heard that just the other day from the COVID. They said it was a mind virus. And,
what
you
you
know,
say that? Daniela had COVID last week.
did she?
Yeah, and I think they got recovered from it pretty quickly. But she could feel the anger. Like remember when I had it?
Yes.
There's anger in this, and it's and I could just feel this overwhelming amounts of anger inside of me. And I was just, my roommate at the time, I was like, I'm gonna not just stay away from you because I have COVID, but I'm gonna stay away from you because I literally feel like I would tell you off.
Yeah.
At any moment. So.
Absolutely.
But
That is, I think I remember when I got COVID too, I was angry inside that, and you feel so different. It's not like it just takes you down to where you can't even hardly walk. I mean, it felt like you were in molasses trying to get through something. It was very tiring. Your muscles were tired. So
The
it was different.
other parts of it, like the flu symptoms, I didn't really have much of that. It was that feeling of exhaustion.
Yeah.
And I remember I would sit up and I'd start to feel the shaking inside, and almost like my body was just weak and it was going to collapse. And I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, it is. Well, and I didn't. It was weird. It was just weird. Now, I got it twice, but I got it the first time. It was only 3 or 4 days. I didn't have any symptoms, and I just didn't feel good. When you feel, you don't just feel good. I mean, I was not achy. I couldn't explain it. But the next one, I was 12 days, but I stayed in the bed.
Yeah.
You just laid there. I mean, I couldn't even feel like I couldn't even, I got up and got water and stuff, but it was like, it was a real chore just to get up and get it. So no, there's a difference in it. I don't know, but is it from the virus itself, or is it from the emotional, mental collective that we're feeling? That's the whole thing.
Well, I knew mine was from the virus. I mean, I had it for 3.5 weeks, and it was. I mean, the last few days was a lot easier, but it was. I sat in it, like, and I would just pay attention to my body and what was going on and what was thinking and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And I just didn't. I mean, I even ordered Uber Eats because I was like, I'm not going to get up and cook. I just spent. I got really used to this Bob Evans breakfast because it was such a big breakfast that I basically had 3 meals out of it.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting experience, and that's the only time I've gotten it. Knock on wood.
Well, I haven't had, but my nephew and his kids have gotten sick again. So he was real sick. I mean, it was like, but they were calling it a stomach virus. But there was something, you have to really look at a lot of things. But not, and these are young kids. So I told my nephew, I said, you're going to get used to that because kids are going to bring that stuff. Because when I was a teacher, the first 5 years of teaching, I got sick. And then after that, I was never sick. I only got sick one time. And that's when I took the flu shot, and I got sick as a dog for over Christmas. And I thought, I'm never doing that again. It made me sick as a dog. And we were having a little bit of a flu problem there. So that's why the health department called for all the teachers and gave us a free shot. There's the free shot. Be careful of that. So, yeah. It was the worst shot I've ever had, and it was terrible. But a lot of people have that kind of reaction. So, but it is. I think people are also they're depressed. They don't know where to go. There's a lot of people that have don't have jobs. They're stressed out. When you're stressed, your body gets stressed, so it creates disease. So that's why you get sicker quicker because you're not losing it.
If you think about the last 4 to almost 5 years,
Yeah.
the has been one thing after another, and I don't care what side of the fence politically you're on. You've had stress, and so
Yes.
and it's just one of those things where if you could really start getting down on yourself and start giving yourself grace, like going to the park or doing some things that
Getting into nature. I agree.
I love going to the park. There's a park here close by Suzanne's house that I go, Seminole Park, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Now, the other day I went there, it was pretty hot out, so I was just like, I was only there about 10 minutes, but and so, but sometimes I'll even just sit in the car, in the park.
Yeah, and just absorb it, the energy of the trees and yes. I think if everybody could get to a forest or get to trees and just sit on the ground, that's very grounding. And I know the Japanese are calling it bathing. They go to the forest to bathe. And what they're talking about, bathing in the energy of the forest. That you can feel when you're doing that. You feel like when I go up to a Red River Gorge, you can feel going to the mountain compared to what it is down here. And we were talking about that last night with because Brenda and them are going to be coming back in next year. And she said, where else can we go? So they're going to try to do a cabin the next time. So they're trying to do what they said, though, they said, there's not a lot of people in Kentucky. I said, well, the last time I talked, but she's right, because I heard this the other day that the population, I think Kentucky is one of the lowest populations state. Mm-hmm. And I'd never heard that before. So it could be a lot of people have moved.
She's also used to Miami.
Yeah, and it's a buzz. Well, they were just grateful. They said everybody was real nice. And, she said, we sat around, they did a lot of that bourbon thing. They stood in lines to get certain bourbons. And she would ask me questions. I said, no, I don't know. I don't get into bourbon. So I don't know. So it's kind of funny when she started talking about it, that there's not a lot of people here. And I thought, now her sister-in-law is from Atlanta. So they felt very, there's a city that's buzzing all the time. Well, Kentucky doesn't. We have cities like in Louisville or Lexington, but no, I don't think it's anything like Miami or Atlanta. I can tell you.
Louisville would probably be the closest.
Yeah, but it's really not. It's not. I mean, because when I went into Miami, I was so grateful that Brenda could drive. I could drive in there. I could. They're flying.
I've driven in Miami. I just don't like it.
I don't like it. And then Chicago, same thing. LA, when you're used to that kind of buzz and that fastness and all of that movement, it slows down everything, because a lot of people come to Kentucky just to slow down. Yeah. So yes. Is anybody on, or we've got anybody?
No, we got people watching. I just I was just laughing because I sent Justin something last night. There was a young man me and Damien went out for a little bit, and I say young man, he was in his 20s, and he was definitely inebriated.
Oh no.
and he was just having, he was being young and dumb.
Well, I just can't drink like that anymore. I no.
Well, and then we weren't drinking, so we were like just kind of watching him, and he was just floating around. And different people, and we were just
to make you remember yourself,
like just a little pixie running around. But he was having a good time.
Good.
Well, Miss Michelle, how are you?
There you go.
And so,
yeah.
So Michelle, we missed the Healers Gathering. I was just thinking about that. I was running across pictures from 2012 the other day. So
yeah, we were talking about that. We've been talking about that a lot. So yeah, that was an amazing time. That was an amazing time, because we did that in less than 3 weeks. Michelle, you did a good job running that through like that. Oh my gosh, it was wonderful.
Incredible experience. So
it was
to watch it unfold.
Yeah, it happened. When she put it out there, it was post-COVID for me the first time. Yes, it was. It was very different compared to what you had to go through. So, yes, it was amazing though what we got to accomplish and see. That was a beautiful time. I got sick of the dog though. Then.
Yeah, you did. Well, Justin got sick too before you, because we were up in Coeur d'Alene. And then we drove from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho to Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
And Justin got really sick. And then I got not as sick, but it was altitude sickness. But
yeah, that was mine too. And I no electrolytes. That's when my real electrolytes came out, and I didn't have any. And if it had been for Michelle and her husband, they went to the hospital and brought it to me, because I really was sick. Because I never had that kind of experience.
Did they do an IV?
Yeah, 3 bags.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, I couldn't do any activities. I did speak. I looked pretty rough when I did speak, but no, I couldn't. I was very, very sick from that. Yeah.
So we have a webinar tomorrow at 2:00, everybody. 2:00 Eastern time. if you go to our website, which is in the description of the show, mydivineinheritance.org, you can sign up for that. It's 2 hours. We basically just work with people that are there, meditation, teaching people how to go within, that kind of stuff. So tomorrow from 2 to 4 Eastern. It's actually kind of a fun Saturday afternoon activity to do. It's on Zoom, and if you go there and sign up, it sends you everything to you. So
Yes.
and then we do it based on pay what you value it at, because we don't feel like we want to block anybody from coming. So anyways, that's a
Friday wrap. That's a Friday wrap.
we actually remembered this week. So
Yeah, we did.
everybody have an amazing week.